Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Hot Patriot Network YouTube channel. I'm as always your host, the Hot Patriot, and for today's episode, we're going to talk about how brainwashed MAGA folks are now attacking Casey Putsch, falsely claiming he's a Nazi and all kinds of other retarded-ass rhetoric when they clearly didn't watch the video itself that he put out recently. Because if they had, they'd realize the guy was actually trolling and not, doing dumb shit, basically, is what it is there. Yeah, it's just a bunch of nonsense is what it is, dude, and it's sad. And it's sad that we are living in a society where you have literal anchor babies like Vivek Ramaswamy, who is number one even allowed to run in the Ohio governor's race, just based on his literal birthright citizenship bullshit alone is what it is there. To 2 nationals. And secondly, when you have people like Vivek who are openly committing crimes, who are openly misusing campaign funds, most recently for Puerto Rico trip, the guy literally took $10,000, or maybe a little over $10,000 for a personal trip to Puerto Rico out of the campaign funds, which literally breaks campaign finance laws in the state and pretty much nationwide is what it is. Federally, I'm pretty sure he broke several campaign laws is what it is there. That should have seen him booted out of the race on the spot, honestly, for that alone. And yeah, the fact that you have people who are like, oh, it's fucking whatever, dude. It's like, no, it's not actually. The same exact thing happened with Joe Blystone back in 2022 when he was trying to run for governor here in Ohio, where he took, it was way less money, by the way, out of the campaign funds there. I think it was maybe a couple $100 or something like that for like personal use or whatever. And not only was he banned from running for any office in the state for like 5 to 10 years, I believe was what it was. So it'd be at least next year, if not 2020 or 2032, if I'm not mistaken. But on top of that, you also have Blyson himself having to do a little bit of prison time. He actually went to jail for, I think it was like 30 days or something there with the whole thing. And mind you, when you go back to Vivek and you look at Vivek, this dude should have been in federal prison decades ago when he did his big pharma scams. He literally committed the same exact securities fraud crimes that put Martin Shkreli away for like at least a few years anyway. And not only that, but then most recently, it's come out now, which this is what bothers the hell out of me, honestly, when it comes to people that are part of other supposed 2A groups is what it is there, specifically Chris Dorr. I'm going to call him out by name at this point. The dude's basically missing information for over a year now about Vivek when he should have been calling his ass out over a year ago now is what it is. So for those who don't know, and I'm going to call this out, like I guess here right now, because number one, when you look at the actual Ohio governor's survey, only one candidate in this entire governor's race right now has even signed it at all to be pro 2A, which is Casey Putsch. Not to mention, I've said in the past, this is the exact reason why I personally, on behalf of the network, have backed this guy. That's why the members of the network have contacted me and were like, yes, we want to back Casey, because within 2 hours of me asking him about what his stance was on the Second Amendment, on X there, under our network account, this dude got back to me immediately and told me straight up where he stands on 2A rights. Like I said, not to mention, then after that, months and months later now, it's almost a year later now, Casey has, signed the Ohio Governor survey. Meanwhile, Vivek, who was handed this same survey over a year ago, hasn't done jack shit, signed it at all. Then you got him being backed by these fucking ass clown lobbyist groups that claim to be 2A rights groups, specifically Buckeye Firearms, which is a known scumbag group at this point. They've actually fucked us over in the past for at least a decade or more. When it comes to 2A rights in the state, probably actually closer to 20 years now at this point. They're recently backing him, Vivek, with some bullshit fucking event or whatever it is there. I also want to point out how just like the elitism of Ramaswamy in this whole thing, because you had Vivek, and that was some judge woman or some woman running for a judge or something here in Ohio. I'm not sure exactly what race she's actually running for here, what it is. But they were at Ohio Gunworks, Ohio Ordnance Works, is what it's called. And for those who don't know what that place actually is, it is the literal highest end gun manufacturer in the state, where the average firearm you can get from that place is somewhere between $6,000 and $18,000, because they're making some out of replicas of stuff like the Browning military equipment and stuff like that's what it is there. Like the 50 cals that they have on the Humvees and everything like that's what it is that they sell. They sell those. They sell, I believe it is, semi-auto BARs, which, again, why the, like, if you are, like, this is what I understand about that place either, by the way. They are a literal class 3 gun manufacturer, meaning they can manufacture full auto. Why the fuck are you not manufacturing full auto, dude? That's just dumb. Like, if you can literally manufacture full auto and sell it to civilians. But of course they can't do that because why? Because the 1986 bullshit machine gun ban that was put in place under Reagan's administration. And it's all a bunch of unconstitutional tyranny is what it is, dude, at the end of the day. And I'm just so fucking sick of it. And I'm even more sick of the fact that you have people who are like, oh, but Vivek is going to do such great things for Ohio. No, he's not. He's going to enrich himself like he has been this entire fucking time, where he's taken over $20 million in campaign funds. He has done absolutely nothing to help try to improve the state as a gubernatorial candidate, where he could have taken at least half the money he has in his personal wealth right now, of the billions he's embezzled over the years through big pharma scams and stuff like that. He could have taken all that money and put it into actual jobs here in Ohio by making actual small businesses. Meanwhile, you got Casey Putsch, who's actually done stuff like that without being a billionaire. The dude was a little car guy before he ran in this race. The only reason he even got in the race to begin with was because he saw the fuckery going on with Vivek and how you had the rhino-ass pieces of shit like Alex Trelafanti, who's the Ohio GOP head right now, who is literally bought and paid for by some billionaire guy named like Singh or something like that's what it is over there from India. And that same Indian billionaire from overseas there, he's also buying off other state officials here is what it is to back Vivek. That's why you have people like scumbag Rhino Matt Huffman backing Vivek. That's why you have all these other motherfuckers backing Vivek. That's why I personally have a gripe with Tex Fisher at this point, because he was backing Vivek as like a party line guy at this point, which is so fucking stupid because it's like, dude, you're not helping your cause to be reelected for a second term. You're only hurting yourself at that point. Now, granted, in the case of Texas, what it is there, it doesn't really matter because he's running unopposed. So it's basically going to be the people it's him in the Republican primary there, which is going to win, obviously, with nobody primarying him out as what it is there. And then you have some Democrat running on their side that's going to get in by default from the November election. It'll be those two versus each other for November is what it is there. So unless that Democrat would flip the seat to Democrats, Texas is going to be reelected for a second term is what it is. And I'm pretty sure he will be anyway, because I'm pretty sure that district he represents right now in the state house is very much a very hard Republican district. I believe Trump won it by like 20 or 30 points in 2024 is what it was. So, sorry, I was checking on my food. For those who don't know what that is in the background, I'm making brats in the air fryer right now is what it is for dinner. So, I will say those Johnsonville ones are not the greatest. I was trying to get the Walmart brand because they seem to be better is what it is, but they don't seem to sell them anymore now is what it is, at least not in the local store I have around here. Here's what it is. So, but when I made that order the other day, they had Johnsonville ones on there, and I'm like, oh, let's get these. And then that was a mistake, I think, because I don't know what that company's doing, if they're like injecting it with extra water or what's going on there, because I noticed it should be like an actual hard like piece of meat when it's done. When it's all fully cooked through, but I was cutting into it the other day and it was just like really spraying out like the liquid at me and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know if they just put a shitload of water in there to make it more plump or what it is. Because it seemed like it had about half the meat it should have on it, honestly, which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's all, the scumbaggery of these giant corporations controlling our food supply and just the fuckery of everything at this point, where you got these companies that are just trying to shrinkflation and everything is what it is now. And just be a bunch of greedy douchebags trying to make a massive profit when they already have a massive profit on their books is what it is there. So, but yeah, I think we're all just sick and tired of all of what it is, dude. But going back to what I was saying, though, some of these people that I called friends, back in 2019, 2020, even into 2021, 2022 there, are the ones now basically falsely claiming that Casey is a Nazi and like back skinheads and shit like that. And I'm just like, what are you even talking about? Like, are you just fucking high or are you just dumb at this point, honestly? So yeah, it's just sad, man. It's just really sad. And it really it disgusts me, honestly. Because specifically the one chick I'm talking about in the situation went on this whole tirade about Putsch and then was basically claiming like, oh, people that are backing him are brainwashed and they're fucking skinheads and everything else like that. It's like, so you're calling me a skinhead and a neo-Nazi and shit? Like, yeah, pretty sure that doesn't fly, bitch. So, anyway, it's just ridiculous what it is, dude. I'm so fucking sick and tired of it. I'm so fucking sick and tired of all of it, man. And I'm just sick and tired of the fucker at this point, honestly, because really, truthfully, honestly, at the end of the day, who do you have in this governor's race for Ohio right now? You have Casey Putsch, a dude who was a car guy, who is an obvious troll, is what it is. But is actually could be a decent leader, is what it is. Then meanwhile, you have his primary opponent, Vivek Ramaswamy, who has actively bought off various companies like Wikipedia to literally scrub any information about his ties to COVID lockdowns back in 2020, which he was part of that, by the way. He 100% backed that stuff. He was literally on a board backing that shit to close the schools, to fuck over small businesses, etc. there. And then other things too, for that matter. I'm not sure exactly what his involvement was beyond that, but it was definitely like the fucker to close the shit down, but it wasn't lock us down for months on end. And then you have Amy Acton on the opposite side of the ticket, who is running unopposed, which is absolute bullshit entirely. You have her piece of shit ass, who is openly going out there and committing genocide of Ohioans. She openly left abortion clinics open during the 2020 lockdowns as so-called essential businesses, so you could have more Ohioans be executed in the womb, is what it is there. Not to mention, she, because of her lockdown bullshit, her direct fuckery as the hand-picked health director by DeWine, she actually is technically responsible for my mother's death at this point, honestly, dude, because had it not been for her locking down the state and then DeWine eventually taking over after she dipped, by the way, let's don't remember, dude, Amy Acton literally left the health director's office when things got too hot. Like, this bitch literally ran for the hills when people called her out on her fucking commie bullshit and unconstitutional tyranny of locking us down at that point, back in like May, June of 2020 is what was there. Then on top of that, you have her being directly responsible. Hang on a second. Then you have her being directly responsible for DeWine basically doing the whole Vax Million thing, which for those who don't know about Mike DeWine, who is, by the way, endorsed Ramaswamy for governor. You have DeWine himself literally misusing COVID funds that were federal funds meant for a fourth COVID check at a state level. He took that money and put it into the Vax Million bullshit to do crimes against humanity, which is when my mom took that whole death jab to begin with, what it is there, dude. And then you wonder exactly why I hate these people, dude. You wonder why most of us at the network who have lost family members because of these fucking pieces of shit hate these fucking people with a passion, is what it is, dude. Why we want to see them in prison on death row, etc., etc. So, yeah. But anyway, so I'm just gonna say, look at this, dude. If it comes down to, you know, a dude who people are claiming to be a Nazi, who's obviously not, versus some fucking Indian billionaire piece of shit who literally is only a billionaire because of the crimes he committed to become one, I should have seen him in federal prison for the rest of his life right now. Yeah, I'm gonna back the other guy. I'm gonna back the white dude, is what it is, man. And that's exactly the problem I've seen with so many of these people that are so-called MAGA and are basically swinging off Trump's nuts for the last decade, is what it is there, dude. None of these people have woken up to the fact that Trump is a 90s Democrat, dude. He always has been. The fact that our entire federal government, between Donald Trump and other rhinos, and then the actual Democrat Party here in 2026, it's all Democrats, dude. It's 90s Democrats versus 2026 Democrats. You know, I had that epiphany, like, what was it, like 2 months ago now at this point, or so, give or take. And that's exactly what it is, dude. You have these people who don't understand it. They don't get it, dude. They are openly retarded when it comes to not understanding what's going on. And then they want to sit there and shit talk everybody else and be like, oh, well, Casey Putsch is just like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and just like insert 20 names there is what it is, which is what this chick did, obviously, that I'm referring to. And it's like, and why do you have a problem with those people? Is it because they called out Trump's bullshit too? I mean, I have my own problems with Candace Owens, but that's beside the point. Mostly her my issue with her is that she's obviously a leftist who's, just fleecing the right is what it is at this point, honestly. And that's for real, honestly, at this point, dude. If you don't realize that, like, you're living under a rock, basically, is what it is there. Candace Owens has always been a piece of shit. She was a default leftist back before Trump ran for presidency. I think it was around like 2014-ish, give or take, under Obama's administration, is when she kind of dipped out from the limelight when she was a lefty at that point, because she was basically trying to grift the left is what it was. And then she came back. It was after Trump announced his presidency in 2015. I think it was either late 2015 or early 2016 when Candace Owens came back on the scene as like a known, like, quote unquote right winger is what it was at that point. And when you look at like specifically her and like her like podcast things that she does, all she does is basically sit there and be like, oh, and here's some merch you can buy from me, and here's some more merch you can buy from me, here's some more merch you can buy from me. But the thing is, like, when you look at who Trump has gotten into it with recently, and it's a bunch of loyalists, dude. It's a bunch of people like Alex Jones who have backed this dude basically to the grave. And meanwhile, what is Trump doing? See if I can find it here real quick. Yeah, you got Trump posting and then deleting stupid ass AI photos like this one depicting himself as Jesus Christ, and then falsely making a statement today claiming that he was like, oh, I thought I was a healthcare worker because there was some Red Cross nurse in the fucking photo. It's like, no, dude, you knew exactly what the fuck you were doing. So I'm not saying Trump is the Antichrist or anything like that, because I don't believe he is what it is, dude. I don't think we've seen that person quite yet is what it is. Because it'd be way more charismatic than Trump is, honestly. So, but that's the thing. Like, when you look at it, it's like these people that this discussed right now, it's like, yeah, and as our buddy Krabby brought up, they turned on Trump because they had reasons, is what it was. So, and that's the thing, too. Like, people don't get that, dude, about Casey Putsch. Like, Casey Putsch is literally a troll. Like, even the video I'm referring to that he put out a few days ago, where he was talking about like it was like Putsch Hall thing or whatever he did recently, which for those that haven't seen the video that came out since then, there's some lefty guy that confronted him at that town hall, that's what it was there, and was like, oh, the Putsch thing was all about Nazi Germany, da 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 da. And Casey was like, you realize my family's been here since like 1860, right? So, and like it's a whole thing like that, dude. I also want to point out, by the way, for those who don't know, from my personal background, my mother's side of my family were actually Polish immigrants into this country. They, back in Poland, this was like 2 years, I think, give or take, before Vladimir Lenin took over and killed a bunch of people under what was like the USSR and stuff like that back in those days. Or exactly, I'm not sure exactly what I don't know if that, I think maybe that was a precursor to the USSR, maybe. Whatever his genocidal dictatorship that was takeover there is what it was there. They're like, I've talked about this before, they were basically, you had the Polish border, the Russian border, and then right behind where the Polish border was, they were like back here a little bit. So you essentially had, it was, Polish border, Russia border, and then they were like right back here basically. And so you had the Russians literally come over, snatch them up in the middle of the night, because they were farmers at the time, obviously. And they were taken back over to Russia to do farming stuff for them. And then you had, over time, I don't know how long it was, until you had like Polish forces come and find my family members and basically realize they were gone, and then go over to Russia's side of the border there is what it was, and then snatch them back. And this kept happening at least several times anyway, if not a couple dozen times as far as I'm aware, from hearing it from my family members that are still alive that were old enough to know what happened there is what it was. So, yeah, it happened enough at that point. They were like, fuck this, we're out of this place. And then they jumped here to America is what it was. So, that's where my mom's side came from, dad's side, which I believe mom's side does have a little bit of Irish in it too, someplace, if I'm not mistaken. And I know we got French in there too. I'm not sure if that's dad's side or if it's mom's side or it's both, actually. I think maybe that might be dad's side. But we got Irish on both sides of the family, both my mom and my dad's sides. And then I know Dad's side had a little bit of German in it too, for that matter. And there's a few other things. So it's like basically Polish, Irish, German, French. I don't think there's any British in there. I would not be surprised in the least if there was some kind of like Brazilian in there someplace or whatever, or like some kind of other like non-white, basically, as we'll say, area there. And the reason I say that obviously is because my brother had a good tan about maybe 10 years ago or so, and there were still people who thought he was black because of how darkly he tanned, and I tanned dark too as well when I finally able to get out and tan. There's what it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was like some weird, like, I don't know, like some Spanish DNA or something in our system. There's what it is. Maybe it was some on the boat ride over or something like that. Maybe one of my ancestors met some like cute Latina or something like that on the boat is what it is, or something, and banged her. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised either way. But anyway, yeah, that being said, though, maybe some Filipino, I'm not sure. Anyway, the entire point of the matter is, though, is that, you know, when you look back at everybody's history, like we all got history that, you know, like especially with white people in general, we all usually have history that ties back to some part of Germany or some part of like countries right around Germany is what it is there, and like the various Eastern Bloc of Europe is what it is. And the entire point of the matter is when you have these people who want to come out and bitch and moan and babble on some more is what it is there about, oh, well, this person is dude this thing or that thing, whatever the case be. It's like, it's all just words, dude. Like, that's the thing. Like, you're sitting there calling people Nazis, dude. It's like, it has lost all fucking meaning at this point. And if it even had meaning at all, for that matter, ever. And it's all just commie bullshit when it comes down to being, dude. It's literally communists. It's literally people that are pushing communism in this country. It's literally people that do the most radicals crap what it is in most cases. That are these hardcore leftists, you know, doing that and saying the most is what it is there, where they're all like, oh, you're xenophobic, you're transphobic, you're a neo-Nazi, you're a Nazi, you're fucking all this other shit and everything else. That's like, and it's like, meanwhile, yet when they say that stuff, they're the ones actually pushing for the exact same Nazi behavior stuff that led to the rise of Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany is what it is there, dude. Whether it be brown shirt mentality and, you know, pushing the shit on the kids, what it is, to basically make them little activists and stuff for themselves, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's just blatant retardation is what it is, dude. And I'm just so fucking sick of all what it is, dude. So really, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna back the person that backs my rights is what it is, dude. At this point in history, I consider myself and the rest of the network to basically be not really single issue voters, but for sure two-way rights before everything else type of voters is what it is there. And when you have Putsch being the only candidate in this entire governor's race that is actively signed on to protect two-way rights in the state, yeah, I want to back Casey Putsch is what it is, dude. Fuck Vivek, fuck Acton, fuck everybody else is what it is there, dude. I'm sick and tired of all the bullshit. Enough is enough. I'm not going to watch my state be destroyed by some fucking Indian foreign national who wants to import his H-1B fucking assholes to take over our jobs here. Fuck that. I'm going to push back. I'm going to fight back against that as much as possible. And if Casey Putsch can't win on May the 5th, okay, then that's whatever, dude. Then plan B comes into place, which is that we completely abolish state government entirely is what it is then. Because that's the nuclear option at this point. That's basically plan 2A is what it is, honestly. It's complete abolishment of Ohio state government through legal means of our state constitution that we can do so with Article 1, Section 2. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully Casey can win this primary and then beat Acton is what it is in the general come November. But who the hell knows? I will point out something, though, that people never bring up, actually, is the fact that you have us being a few weeks out from the general primary. Here's what it is, which is literally 2 weeks, or no, sorry, not 2 weeks, 3 weeks from tomorrow, so it would be May the 5th. And yet, 3 weeks out right now, you still have Vivek, who has refused to debate Casey at all. You still have any of these candidates that refuse to debate at all, is what it is, dude. Whether it be Vivek, whether it be Acton, whether it be anybody for that matter. And yet they're trying to be governor of the state. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, how the hell are you going to be governor of the state when you're not even willing to debate other candidates in the race? Or willing to debate at all, for that matter, it seems like. or willing to run on anything that actually will help Ohioans is what it is, dude, or Americans for that matter. When you're openly having meltdowns and crash outs and rage quits and everything else like that, like Vivek's had in the past couple of years now, where he's, and that's the thing I don't understand about people still backing Vivek at this point, dude. Like, do you not remember the guy literally 4 months ago, not even 4 months ago, it's about 3.5 months ago, give or take, back in, I think it was either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day there, literally went on a whole tirade, basically shit-talking everyday Americans is what it is, dude, because the motherfucker knows he never will be one, because he's the literal anchor baby child of 2 foreign nationals, where his mother didn't even become a U.S. citizen until he was over 18 years old in 2003, and his father never has become a U.S. citizen because he's too fucking dumb to pass a U.S. citizenship test. Meanwhile, Vivek himself is trying to run for governor on forcing Ohio high schoolers to take the citizenship test to pass and graduate high school. Like, what the hell kind of retarded bullshit is that, dude? It's like you want these kids that are actual American citizens to take the citizenship test, yet your own retarded ass father can't even pass the same damn test in over 40 fucking years now is what it is, dude. So it's just stupid bullshit, honestly, dude. And like I said, I think all of us are just sick and tired of it, dude. We're sick and tired of Trump endorsing the worst possible people in these races that are clearly Democrats by default is what it is. Being people like Vivek here in Ohio, being people like Byron Donalds there in Florida, who is just an ass clown who's trying to import the fucking third world as well, too, for that matter. This stuff coming out about Donalds recently about this whole thing, where you had Byron Donalds on camera like a year or two ago, openly calling for various H-1B imports and like various illegals to be given citizenship now is what it is in the last like 6 months or so. Meanwhile, in Florida, you also have that Maria Salazar woman who is a clear rhino, who hopefully she'll get primary the fuck out in the coming months, and Florida's primary there's what it is, because her little Dignity Act crap, or whatever it's called, she is literally admitting now that is nothing more than to make a base of illegal voters into citizens in this country, where it's a bunch of illegal third world trash at this point. They need to be kicked the fuck out decades ago into voter bases, dude. People who have had over 20 years in most cases to become a citizen legally in this country, yet have done jack shit to actually do that stuff. And that's another thing that I have a problem with, honestly, dude. It's like, I get we have a lengthy ass process of citizenship in this country, as we should. It should be hard to become a citizen in this country, dude, because we don't want everybody and their brother turning our high trust society into a low trust society is what it is, bro. So yes, it should take 10 to 15 fucking years to get that shit done. But the whole point is, if you start the process, dude, and you're here for like 20 years, you're going to be a citizen by the time it's fucking done, bro. Most likely, or you're going to get kicked out and have to restart the whole thing is what it is there. You know? Like, this is the problem. Like, American citizens, people like myself and others, should be able to live the American dream. We should be able to have affordable housing. We should be able to own our own homes by the time we're 40-ish. It shouldn't be a situation where we got to be 50, 60, 70 years old and we're living in a fucking trailer on like a quarter acre of land because it took us that long to fucking get the shit is what it is, dude. So it's bullshit, dude. We should actually be able to have generational wealth in our country where Americans can keep their families' homes from the past, where we don't gotta sell them because of a death. And that's another thing that really does bother the shit out of me, honestly, is like, I don't care what it is, dude. When a family member dies, if there is a mortgage on the home and they've already paid enough to cover the principal of that mortgage, that whole entire debt should be wiped the fuck out. That is the exact reason why my mother's house had to be sold, was because she had paid at least 2 or 3 times the principal of that mortgage she took out in the house. There's what it was. And it was mostly an interest for that matter. It was almost all an interest, actually. It was about probably 95% in interest, actually, on the principal there, which shows exactly why interest rates are bullshit, too, for that matter. And it's all just a bunch of scumbaggery by these banks to fuck us all over what it is there. But yeah, that entire principal that was left at that point should have been wiped out debt completely is what it is, dude. Should have been like, nope, you've already got your payments, bitches, and all the fucking interest you charged us. So get fucked. You're not getting a dime here. And that's exactly what should have happened upon her death. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. You know, we ended up having to sell the house and pay off over almost $100,000 in fucking medical or in mortgage debt is what it was there to these scumbags at Chase. So, yep, that's exactly the case too. And I totally agree with that too, for that matter. If you haven't seen that video, check that video out. Yeah, there's this crazy Indian thing going on there in Frisco, Texas now, where it's basically little India there is what it is. And I actually saw another video coming out recently where you had Indian foreign nationals who are now sitting there living in Texas, who are openly trying to get farmers to bring cows to homes there in Frisco, Texas, so they can basically bless the house with a fucking cow inside of it. And I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like this, and this again goes back to my hatred for people that refuse to assimilate is what it is, dude. Because if you're truly going to assimilate to America, dude, if you want to be an American, number one, stop the hyphenate shit. Like, you're not an Indian American, you're an American. You're not an Asian American, you're an American. You're not an African American, you're an American, et cetera, et cetera. You know, you don't see, like I said before in many, many videos, and I'll say it again now, you don't see me walking around calling myself an Irish American or a German American or a French American or a Polish American or whatever the case be. No, I'm an American. I was born to parents that were American citizens who were born to parents that became American citizens through legal immigration. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, I messed up on that one, because my grandfather actually was a U.S. citizen too. It was his mother, my great grandmother, that was the one that came over on the boats. Is what it was back in the 1910s. I believe is what it was. So yeah, it was basically an American born to Americans, born to legal immigrants is what it was. So anyway. But yeah, the entire point is it's a bunch of shit, honestly, dude, when you have people who haven't even been here for, 50 years at this point, trying to shit on the rest of us is what it is as American citizens. People like Vivek being like, oh, but this, and that, or whatever the case may be. Nobody can be an American. It's like, shut your globalist ass up, bitch. We all know you're working for fucking Soros and Bilderberg and World Economic Forum and Davos and everybody else. Like, that's what it is. So I'm just sick and tired of Manchurian candidates and these races, dude, entirely. And this is what I've said before. We need automatic disqualifications on both holding office and running for office in this country, and it would fix so much shit right now. Because we could just have everyday Americans like myself, et cetera, be able to go out and, be like, no, I don't want this person in this race, and give like this big ass reason, and they can be disqualified for that reason is what it is then, dude. So, or if nothing else, make it like a mandatory, like X amount of people, whatever the case be, like 100 plus or whatever the case be, they have to do that kind of thing or whatever. And yeah, if you got that many people being like, yes, this person is committed, and in fact, like I said, going back to Vivek in general, dude, like, the dude is misusing campaign funds, which you could honestly say he's embezzling campaign funds for his personal shit is what it is at this point. And yet not being booted out of the race for that alone is what it is, bro. Like, that right there should tell you everything that this asshole would do as governor. We all know I know the fucking truth at this point, dude. The reason Vivek is running for governor of Ohio is because he wants that $2 billion plus is in a rainy day fund right now. He'll crack that bitch open for his own personal use is what it is, dude. And you will see him cut and run as fast as possible after that. So, and I guarantee he's going to enrich other people at the same time. He'll probably take that lion's share, like 40-50% of it is what it is then, and try to run for the hills. And then you'll have him basically dole out like all this other shit to like other people. My guess is he would basically crack the rainy day fund to do H-1B visa imports and bring companies here to Ohio that would exclusively hire Indian foreign nationals, what it is then. Or boring a bunch of those damn data centers is what it is there too. And I think my biggest gripe with Vivek is not only the fact that he's not pro-2A, the fact that, like I said earlier on the video here, the dude actively met with anti-gun groups over a year ago at his house. I don't know if that was Giffords. I don't know if it was Moms Made Action or if it was Everytown or who exactly it was. I wouldn't be surprised with the Bloomberg ones, honestly, whether it be MDA members, whether it be Everytown lawyers, whoever was there. But either way, it's a bunch of shit, honestly, dude. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of it, what it is. So, that being said, my food is still in the air fryer about 20 minutes after the time that went off the air. So, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and get that out to make sure it's still hot as what it is. because I don't need to go on shitty on me is what it is there. And then I'm going to eat, obviously, because I haven't eaten today. So I should say I haven't eaten anything substantial for most of the days what it is there. So I'm going to eat a late dinner here at like 9:30 and go from there is what it'll be. So, but anyway, I do want to apologize for not doing Slicey Boy episodes this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. I was feeling like shit, bro. I was literally, because of the way everything's going on in the trains and everything anymore, and just the weather patterns, the way they're changing constantly anymore, it seems like. I was trying to get some good sleep, and yeah, I just kept nodding off, and just when I finally did wake up, I just felt like crap, honestly. So I just didn't feel like doing anything. I might do one this week, actually, like either tomorrow or Wednesday, maybe, as like a special one. I'm not making any promises, honestly, on that one, but I might do like a special weekday one or whatever the case be, where I just go over a couple knives, and that's what it'll be. If I do like a special midweek one or whatever the case be, what it'll actually be is it'll just be a little 5-minute one, probably, where I do a comparison between the Walmart Ozark Trail orange handled D2 knife and the Mossy Oak one I recently picked up. That was basically the Gen 3 version of that, which I think is actually more of an inferior Gen 3 is what it is there. Just because of the tab things on it. The Ozark Trail has better tabs than what it is there, and I wish more companies would use the ones that Ozark Trail uses there is what it is, dude, because for those specific crossbar lock ones, you can easily get a better finger grip on those than you can with the ones that are like basically flush fit to the actual knife itself is what it is there. And especially for those of us like myself that have arthritis in our hands, it is way harder to open those ones that are like flush fit with the scaling of the knife is what it is there versus the ones that stick out just a little bit is what it is there. So, but anyway, needless to say, just to reiterate, Casey Putsch is not a Nazi. He's not a neo-Nazi. The people who are calling him these things and, you know, falsely claiming his supporters are skinheads and Nazis and everything else like that are fucking stupid. They need to stop swinging off Trump's dick, honestly, dude, for real, and wake up to the fact that this guy is lying about what he claimed to be running on, has actively fucked us over and stuff, is clearly in bed with Israel at this point to do their bidding for them. And most of us just had it at this point, honestly, dude. Like, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I personally am sick and tired of watching my federal government being dead to Israel at this point, dude, and having so many U.S. senators and so many congressmen in power right now, which is like 90+% of them at this point, who are all tied directly to the AIPAC stuff, which is obviously the Israel lobbyist funds and stuff like that. That's what it is, dude. And it's like, first of all, how is that company allowed to exist here in America without having to label itself as a literal foreign campaign fund place is what it is, and a super PAC like that is what it is, dude. You're literally a foreign super PAC is what it is. And the fact you're not having to be labeled as that is absolute bullshit is what it is, dude, because that alone should see them not being able to donate to people's campaign funds is what it is, dude. And this is my biggest gripe. And again, people like I said, the same people that are, you know, bringing up the Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson types are also bringing in Marjorie Taylor Greene for that matter, which, by the way, again, I have my own gripes with that woman entirely. And it mostly goes to the fact that, you know, when you're going to sit there and try to claim to be America first, but then only stay in Congress just long enough to get your lifetime congressional benefits and then dip the fuck out and leave your constituency that voted you into office in the lurch, that's fucked up, bro. Number one. Number two, she basically showed herself as just a sellout retard, basically, many, many years ago. Yeah, she might have not been tied to AIPAC and stuff like that, but she was definitely one of these QAnon retards is what it is, dude. So I'm honestly just really sick and tired of these people who are running for office to act like they're some kind of celebrity is what it is, dude. Which unfortunately is exactly what Trump brought with him in the 2016 presidential election, because you had a reality star running for presidency at that point. And then since then, you've had all these other people like your AOCs and your MTGs and your fucking Viveks and all these other people like that who are like, well, I kind of want to be that like famous person now as a political candidate. It's like, or you could just go to Hollywood or Bollywood or whatever the fuck, dude, and try to become a star there is what it is. So Yeah, like I'm just sick and tired of our fucking society being sold out to the dumbest possible people possible is what it is there, dude. Like it's just a bunch of idiocy is what it comes down to being. And I think most of us are just sick and tired of all of it, dude. Like there needs to be safeguards in place to keep this country from being destroyed from the inside out. And I truly believe, honestly, what I've seen recently. I was watching a video here in the last couple of days now, where I believe it was either a YouTube short or a Facebook reel, either one. It basically talked about empires falling and how almost every empire lasts roughly 250 years, give or take, which is very ironic given that we as a society now here in America are coming on our 250th anniversary as a nation. So I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. And then when you have, and you look at how it basically started, you know, anywhere from like 50 to 75 years ago, give or take, maybe even 100 years ago for that matter. It basically started, actually, I guess technically you could say about 107 years ago is when it really started with the whole progressive movement, giving women the right to vote in this country. As it really started the downfall of America at that point. And then it's basically just, you know, continued to exacerbate from there and just snowball into this downhill, you know, giant snowpack rolling down. And it just becomes this, you know, avalanche snowball coming at you. It's like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons where it's like, you know, it's like somebody like kicks like a rock or something like that and it like catches some snow. And then it just keeps rolling into like this giant like crater snowballs what it is then. It's like a boulder and stuff. And then it like catches somebody or whatever and it's like just makes them like that splat cartoon essentially. So reminds me of that honestly. But yeah, it's basically like that honestly. And it really and you can look at that a lot recently, more recently actually between around 2008 or so, give or take, with the housing market crash and stuff like that. That was all tied to Epstein and stuff. Where it was the first quarter, I believe was what it is, Q1, was directly tied to that whole thing. And that's basically where our national debt ceiling started getting raised up. And now, you know, between 2008 and 2026 now, in 18 years, literally 18 years, bro, our debt has like, I don't even know if it's like quintupled or what it is at this point. Like it's either 5 times what it used to be, 10 times what it used to be, something like that. And when you look back at exactly how it happened, like it's not that hard to figure out, dude. When you have these omnibus bills that are, you know, $2-3 trillion or more in many cases, and it's just all kinds of dumb, retarded shit where it's these lobbyist groups that are lobbying congressmen that they bought off through campaign funds and stuff like that and bribes, etc., and being like, oh, well, give us this, you know, $100 million or $10 billion, whatever it is there, to some random thing overseas is what it is there. And when you look at how much wasteful spending is going on, you look at how many people are just being raped over the coals, and I mean literally raped over the coals, dude, like not raked, RAPED. Because we now have like a taxation that is like so ridiculous. And when you actually have Congress people coming out in the last year or so who have openly said, we don't know where more than half of this money is going, then why the fuck are we paying taxes, dude? Why have we not had a tax revolt in this country at this point, honestly? Why have we not had a second American Revolution at this point in history, honestly, is the real question. And it makes sense that it doesn't happen because you have, you know, the powers that should not be in power there. You have some crazy technology they have in place right now, which I'm assuming is some kind of like Minority Report kind of stuff is what it is there, where it's like future prediction algorithm stuff they have in their computer networks there. They're like at least 20, 25 years more advanced than what the civilians have in the market right now is what it is there. So, and I guarantee that that's why they're dissuading this stuff away. They're pushing various crap on social media sites like that. They're pushing this AI slop out there is what it is, dude, to distract us all away from the truth at this point. You know, they're working everyday people to death, you know, paycheck to paycheck is what it is there, so they don't revolt. And, you know, I think I talked about this a couple times before. My old neighbor from my mom, where my mom used to live there, they lived a couple of doors down from us, what it is there. Went to high school with him back in the day. And this dude and I were having a conversation. This is probably This was either 2019 before the lockdowns, or it was during the lockdowns in 2020. There's what it is. And we were discussing just the fuckery of our government and stuff like that. And actually, it was even 2018. Now I think about it. It's been a few years now. So, but anyway, it was either like before midterms of 2018, or it was like not long after that, then in 2019, 2020. But yeah, we were having a discussion about stuff, and I was like, why hasn't there been this kind of stuff, whatever the case be? And he's like explaining it to me from his aspect of things. He's like, you gotta think, man, like I got all these kids, like, if something happens to me, like what's going to happen to the kids is what it is there. And I'm talking to him at the same time, and I'm like, I understand that, my guy, but like, you got to realize from this aspect of things, if you sit back and do nothing, what's that going to lead to for your kids? It's just going to lead your kids down the road where they're probably going to be the ones that have to fight a decade or two from now is what it is. So unfortunately, it just kind of came to, two heads kind of button together and no real solution being able to come out. That's what it is there. So, and I think unfortunately that's what a lot of people are right now is what it is. It's fathers that, they have young kids. They don't want to go to war against tyranny is what it is there for their kids, which again, there's multiple ways to go to war is what it is, dude. You don't have to go to like physical war with firearms and stuff like that. You can literally go to war with a tyrannical government by running for a political office, winning political seats of power, and changing from the inside is what it is there, dude. Not being a corrupt piece of shit, not taking money from special interests, etc. There's what it is. And just taking down the seat versus the fucking establishment scumbags that are doing that stuff is what it is there, dude. I think you lock these motherfuckers up is what it is, dude. Like you could literally have a non-violent political revolution in this country right now through just people getting into power currently is what it is, dude. Unfortunately, nobody wants to do that kind of stuff, or nobody wants to, try to form that coalition to do that stuff. What it is there, and instead you got so much division going on between men and women and everything else. It's just divide and conquer. What it is, dude. It's the greatest strategy ever created for war. Back, thousands of years ago. That's now being implemented here in 2026 is what it is, dude. You got women versus men. You got trans versus straight people. You got GLAAD doing their gay agenda and everything. Hollywood now is what it seems like. You have just the constant pushing of communist crap is what it is on these younger generations that are embracing this shit like crazy. You have just the Trojan horses everywhere across our political spectrum, and it's just ridiculous what it is, dude. So here's getting rid of money, but they never say foreign aid. It's about to run out. See, and that's another thing, by the way. People don't realize that about Social Security either, for that matter. You have people going back to 65 with the Nationalization and Immigration Act of 65, or the Hart-Celler Act is what they originally called it, which is the two pieces of shit senators that were behind it, Hart and Celler. When you look at the people that came in because of that one, who were either illegal aliens in this country or just foreign nationals from, Mexico or any other Central American country at that point, none of these people ever put a dime into Social Security, but yet were able to get like full benefits when they retired and like a year or two after they moved here is what it is, dude. Like, explain that shit to me, honestly, because there's really no explanation for it is what it is, dude, of how they're able to pull that crap off. And then when you look at what happened under Biden's, cheater regime, there's what it is for 4 years. They imported over 30 million people into this country, dude, as voter blocks. They handed them literal cards, little debit cards, as they were walking through our fucking borders and checkpoints and stuff like that, that had anywhere from $500 to a couple $1,000s on them that could be used for anything. And they just kept refilling them every single month. And it's like, you wonder why we're in debt like crazy. It's like, yeah, stop giving money to fucking foreign nationals, dude. Seriously. Stop giving trillions and trillions of dollars to all these fucking other countries that are all communist hellholes is what it is. And take back every single resource from them for national debt to be knocked down is what it is, dude. Like, honestly, it does make me wonder, like, who are we really indebted to when it comes to national debt, dude? Is it China? Is it other countries? Is it world banks, etc. there? Like, what happened if we just said, you know what, fuck all you guys, this debt is now zero? Like, that would be a solution, honestly, at this point. And I'll tell you what, if I was in the presidency, that's what I would do. I'd just be like, guess what? Remember that $35+ trillion national debt? Yeah, it's now $0 in national debt. Fuck everybody. We ain't paying you a dime back ever because you've actively fucked us over for generations, people. So now, granted, it might collapse our country because it would collapse the petrodollar. Probably, my guess, honestly, would be the response to them. But at that point, that's why you set up a safeguard and you go back to having either a gold or a silver-backed standard is what it is there, dude. And if we actually had stuff backed by either gold or silver or other precious metals for that matter, we could actually have a better nation. We wouldn't have to rely on the petrodollar being, allowing for inflationary bullshit and the buying power of the dollar to be knocked down every time we turn around through money printing and stuff like that's what it is there. So, but anyway, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and go. Finally got my food out of the air fryer about 25 minutes later is what it is. At least, like I said, it should be fine. Honestly, I've watched in there for about at least that long before. So and honestly, with the way my air fryer is, it probably is still hot, honestly, on the rack there is my guess. So it's basically been kept in a hot box this entire time. Be no different than going to a Walmart and picking up like one of the little packs of popcorn chicken off of their like heated carousel thing that's there. So, but anyway. Yeah, needless to say, 3 weeks from now, Casey Putsch must win the Ohio primary for Republican governor, or I should say the Republican primary for the Ohio governorship. Vivek must be defeated. If he's not, then Plan B goes into place, and it's time to abolish state government because there's no way we're letting Vivek take the governorship. There's no way we're letting Action take the governorship. There's no way in hell we're letting these anti-gun, anti-life, fucking piece of shit motherfucking crimes against humanity assholes who should already be in federal prison for those crimes that they helped commit in 2020. There's no chance in hell we're ever letting them take a fucking highest seat in this state right now is what it is, dude. So, and it's time to go full fucking, abolishment at that point, honestly. Now, granted, if that doesn't work, there's other options that would be things that we're not going to talk about on camera here is what it is. So, and it's that simple. Hopefully those options don't have to be, check box is what it is. But again, enough is enough of letting fucking scumbag. There was actually a great quote I heard recently. And I'm going to see if I can find it real quick because it was something that Charlie Hennon, the guy who played Jax Teller in Sons of Anarchy, said in that series. It was one of the early seasons. So let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is. It was, quote unquote, "I'm tired of being crushed under the weight of greedy men who believe in nothing. I have to change that." And that's exactly how I feel right now, dude. Because that's exactly what it is, dude. That's exactly what is happening to America for the past, 70 plus years now is what it is. And it's not even just greedy men, it's greedy women too, for that matter. And, people like myself, we are sick and tired of being crushed under the weight of greedy individuals who believe in nothing, who just want to fuck us all over to enrich themselves is what it is, dude. Like, the change must come from this. We must become an America first, America only country. When it's all said and done, it must be AFAO. End of story. America first, Americans only. It's time for us to stop being the world police. It's time for us to stop being the World Bank. It's time for us to become an isolationist nation, honestly, dude. Take care of ourselves first and fuck everybody else, dude. And it needs to be not one person. It needs to be dozens and dozens of people, hundreds of people getting into positions of power and saying that exact thing and doing that exact thing and being like, no, we're going to take care of Americans and fuck the rest of the goddamn world is what it is, dude. And until we as a country are able to have actual Americans living the American dream that they want to live, everything else is off the fucking table. We're not going to get involved in wars. We're not going to get involved for any other country, any other fucking conflict, any other bullshit like that, dude. We're going to do what we have to do here in America to fix our shit first. Literally put on our mask first on the airplane and go from there is what it is. So, anyway. Till later. I will see you guys on the next one, which will most likely either be, I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or Wednesday or when exactly it'll be. That'll do potentially a Slice of Boy episode as like a midweek thing. Tomorrow night we should be on Honda's chat as long as he does one for the week. So if I don't do anything tomorrow afternoon or anything like that, it's definitely be tomorrow night. I'll be on Honda's chat. That's what it is. And I'll discuss more of this as well for that matter. But yeah, I'm just sick and tired of all of it, dude. I'm sick and tired of the stupidity of everybody at this point, honestly. And like, truthfully, I'm ready to just like walk into the woods and do a small cabin and just live there for the rest of my life, honestly. Be done with it, dude. Like, it'd be better off to just be there than be fucking, you know, dealing with all the stupidity is what it is now. But I don't know. I know I was left on this earth for a purpose a decade ago. Like, there's a reason why I didn't die of colon cancer in 2016. I still haven't quite figured out exactly why yet, exactly what my purpose is yet. But I think I get, like, mostly why I'm still here. And I believe that God does have a plan for me. I wish he'd be more open about what it is, actually, but, you know. Maybe it's what I'm doing right now, honestly. Maybe it's just informing everyone. Maybe it's just being the Paul Revere type is what it is. So, who knows? But anyway, on that note, I will see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a good one. Have a good night. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Always be carrying. Always be situationally aware for the potential Islamic sleeper cells being activated in this country in the coming months, because I do truly believe that come July 4th of this year, we are going to see something bad happen in this country. I hope I'm wrong about that one, but, you know, just me, just the autism, you know, and the thought process from that coming through, it's like, from everything I've seen recently, dude, like, I believe Islam is definitely up to something right now, and I would not be surprised in the least if they try to do the 250th anniversary of America as the worst terrorist attack since 9/11, honestly, in this nation. So, only time will tell, honestly. And I think that's the biggest problem I have when it comes to Trump and stuff like that. What it is right now, dude, is, and I'm not just saying Trump himself, I'm saying like everybody that's underneath him too, for that matter, where you could have all of these people, all these military generals, everybody else like that, doing stuff, sheriff's offices across the board, police stations across the board in this country, various health agencies, et cetera, there, doing the right things right now to ensure that these kind of terrorist attacks can never happen again in this country. But none of them want to do anything like that, because then it would be like, oh, we can't just kick Islam off of American soil. It's like, the fuck we can't, dude. Like, you could easily have, and I've said it before, dude, I was talking with several people about this in the last couple months now. I said, if Trump was smart, what he would have done was he would have literally got all these dudes that were various military vets, that were combat veterans, that were, you know, mercenary types and stuff like that's what it is there. He would have made dozens of QRF teams, which may or may not be legal on U.S. soil for that matter, but that's besides the point entirely. He would have made 3 to 4 man quick reaction force teams in this country. He would have had them be secretly deployed to go after these various sleeper cells on U.S. soil, whether it be Islamic, Chinese, etc. And he would have taken these fuckers out over the last year or two. And yet he's done none of that, as far as I'm aware. And Chloe doesn't give a shit about the fact you have this clear Islamic takeover going on right now in America, and you have a clear Indian takeover going on in America too, for that matter. So, which I'm not so sure that Indians, at this point, people of India, of descent from India is what I should say, I'm not so sure that they couldn't be used against the potential Islamic sleeper cells, but it does go to full conflict and stuff like that. But I think it would be more or less tribalism of everybody at that point, dude, except for maybe whites at this point, honestly, dude. Because when you start looking at stuff right now, like literally every other race seems to be tribalistic at this point, except for white people, especially white liberals. White liberals are like the biggest black eyes on the whole thing is what it is, dude, because I was trying to make a better term than that, whatever, didn't matter. Yeah, they're the biggest, like, simps, basically, for their own destruction is what it is there. And I was even watching, it was Tim Pool's had put out a video here in the last day or so where he was talking about the whole thing. He was like, yeah, these people, they're just a detriment to themselves, what it is, dude. They're detrimentally destroying their own nation and refuse to actually understand that, yes, they're being fucked over when you literally have, and the analogy Tim was using was about jurors and stuff like that and juries, where you could have like 11 random people on a jury and there's like one Latino guy or one black guy, and then the defendant in the case happens to be either Latino or black, and that person will make basically a hung jury, even if the person is guilty as hell, because they're basically siding with their own race and stuff like that. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now when you're seeing these dudes like the piece of shit that killed Irina Zarutska, who is now being called incompetent to stand trial and stuff like that, even though he clearly said he wanted to kill whites on that fucking video on the train when he murdered her ass. And you have so much of that stuff going on right now, dude, where you have these career criminals who have 10, 20, 30, 40 prior arrests and convictions and stuff like that. But because you either have an activist judge who shouldn't be a judge in the first place in power, or you have this bullshit ass jury made up of the dumbest people who can get out jury duty is what it is there, being the ones that are, you know, pushing all that crap is what it is there. And then they happen to do race-based shit is what it is there. It's like, this is the exact problem right now, dude. It's just bullshit entirely is what it is. So, and actually there was see if I can find it here right now. Lauren Chen, doesn't know who that chick is. She's, I believe she's a right-wing commentator type, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. I believe that's what her claim to fame is, though. She might have been one of these people that was more or less a like citizen journalist type or something like that's what it is there. But she actually had a great solution to the whole thing right now, which she put on X here a few days ago, which is there should be a, quote, 3 strikes law for judges. If 3 people are harmed by criminals they released from custody, the judge is charged with criminal negligence. 100%, bro. 100%. And I would even go further than that, honestly, and say there should be a 1-strike version of that, where if they release somebody who has already done like a whole bunch of violent felonies and stuff like that back on the streets, they should immediately be charged with any crime that person commits at that point, honestly, dude, after that. So, because it would be like there in Chicago, where you have the DA telling the judge, be like, hey, judge, like, this dude is literally a serial arsonist. Maybe we shouldn't let him out. And the judge is like, nope, let him back out. And within less than 48 hours of that, the guy went and bought a bottle, like a 20-ounce water bottle full of gas at a gas station, and then walked onto the Chicago subway system there, found some white woman and tossed it on her ass and set her on fire is what it was, dude. And it's like that right there, that judge should have been tried with every fucking crime that dude ever committed, from that one to everything before that, then is what it is. So, or most recently, there was another one in Minnesota where it was some retard piece of shit judge. There was a Somali terrorist on the trial there for $11 million, and I believe it was either welfare fraud or Medicaid fraud. And he was told this dude was a flight risk. That judge not only let the guy keep his passport, he let him out on bond. And what happened immediately after that, in the last couple of days now, this Saeed guy, I hope pronounce his name there, literally fled the country with $11 million, dude. And it's like, yes, these judges should be on the hook for that kind of stuff. It is what it is. It's ridiculous entirely. So, but anyway, it's getting close to quiet hours here. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day then. And I'm going to go grab the food that's been sitting in the air fryer for probably about 45 minutes now, give or take. So, because I am hungry, and hopefully that's still good to eat, not all shriveled and nasty now is what it is. Who knows? But I'll end up poking it with a poke with a knife there is what it is and get it going. So one of these days I'm going to do my little smokies with my eggs, which is a really good. My aunt made one of those things before that was a I can't actually, I don't know exactly what the recipe is for it. I don't think I have anything on hand here to make it though, but it would be like, plus it would make too much honestly anyway. But yeah, she used to make when we were having get-togethers, it was an egg dish where it was the little smoky sausages, little cocktail winner things that it is there. That's your meat base, and then it was eggs. I think there was it's like cream. I think it's cream and mushroom soup, something like that. What it is there, some kind of like soup mix or something. That's what it is. And then some like broth stuff or whatever the case be mixed together, and you put it all in like a casserole pan. Then you throw it in the oven for like an hour or two is what it is there, at some amount of temperature, like 350 or something like that. And yeah, it just makes this crazy dish. That's what it is. That basically you cut it out and make like a square, and it's really good because you chop up the meat into it, so it's not like the full like cocktail wingy thing. It's like maybe like little chunks like that basically. And yeah, that with like either a little bit of ketchup or something either on the top of it or like on the side of it there to like dip into it, and it's really really good. So, but yeah, we've had that a bunch of times over the years, and my mom helped her make it a few times, and it was even better then. So, but anyway, it is what it is. So, on that note, though, I'm gonna go eat these brats, see if they're better than the ones the other day or not. So, anyway, but yeah, like I said, always be situationally aware for anything that's out of place in our country. Be ready to respond to that whole thing, and basically always be carrying, dude, because now is the time where something's going to go down, and if something bad happens, it's basically on the people in power right now that refuse to do anything to stop it. Is what it is, man. Whether it be the DOJ, whether it be Trump himself, whether it be Congress, Senate, etc., that let these people into our country to get themselves back into power. I do want to point something out before we leave too, as well, for that matter, which is that Eric Sowell has officially resigned from Congress, which he should have been kicked out already at this point for running for governor of California right now. You also had Tony Gonzalez do the same exact thing. And it was because Anna Paula Luna, in the last day or so, basically called him out by name and said she was bringing votes to the floor this week to expel them from Congress over sexual misconduct allegations, what it is there, for various sex assault and like other stuff, what it is. And it's very interesting that literally like a day or two before that would happen, these pieces of shit are like, nope, I'm resigning now. It's like, no, you're going to jail now, motherfuckers, for literally raping women is what it is there. So, like, enough is enough of this shit, dude. Every single fucking incumbent in power right now is being voted the fuck out, is what it is, in the upcoming midterm elections here. And we need to fix this country the right way. And if that means being able to vote them out of power and vote other people in it, it's going to be better. Okay, that's fine. I don't think we have the ability to vote our way out of this at this point, honestly, dude. I think it's going to have to be cartridge box at some point. But, you know, if that be the case, then that's what it'll come to when it comes to it. And, you know, until then, I think we still have options, what it is. Very few inflating options, but I think we still have options where we don't have to go to war, is what it is. But if it does come to war, then, you know, be ready for that too, is what it is, man. So there's a reason why I am buying several things in the last 2 months now, is what it is, dude. And I'm getting a bunch of things ready to get stuff done. And if worse comes to worse, I will be, you know, having a group of people with me, is what it is there, to do things. So, and have my back, is what it is. If anything ever does go down, is what it is then. So, anyway, I also want to, before I go real quick, I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because I'll do this in another video. I'll probably do that in Grandstand 274 tomorrow is what it'll be then. I'm going to go over and do a full breakdown of what happened to Serena Hernandez this past weekend in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I believe it was Minneapolis, or I don't know if it was that exact city or if it was just in Minnesota, period. But yeah, she was in Minnesota. There was anywhere from 30 to 50 Antifa terrorist types, some of which admitted they were Antifa, which, again, I don't understand why the fuck Trump isn't arresting these people when he literally has declared them as a terrorist organization at this point in history on the terrorism they're committing right now. But yeah, they basically jumped Savannah, who was out there just doing investigative journalism stuff, and knocked her into a fence. They basically beat the shit out of her. And there's about 4 or 5 of them that jumped on her at one point. if not 6 or 7 actually. As far as I'm aware, only like one family was arrested in the whole thing. It was their piece of shit daughter, who was basically trying to claim she was the victim now, but it was her piece of shit parents that were the ones that were arrested for basically assaulting Savannah legitimately. And yeah, they're all a bunch of leftist turds is what it is, dude. My only gripe with what Savannah said in her updates is what it is that she didn't call people out as a terrorist. They are what it is, dude, because they were committing textbook definition terrorism. And it's like, yeah, they're not, what do you call it now? Not protesters. They're not just agitators, dude. They are literal terrorists by textbook definition is what it is. Call them out for what the fuck they are. And if anything, sue their fucking asses into the ground for personal injury is what it is, dude. Because that's how you win these things. You take them to fucking court. You take them to civil lawsuits. You take them for millions of dollars. And that's how it stops, dude. And my biggest gripe with Trump right now entirely with that kind of stuff is you need to use these motherfuckers as examples, dude. We need to have public executions in this country again. And if we actually had a public hanging or two in this nation on a live stream or something like that, due to these fucking scumbag terrorists that are Antifa, etc. there, a lot of this shit can be squelched out right then and there, dude. Because you'd have the other ones realize real quick, be like, oh shit, they ain't fucking around no more. And that's the thing. It needs to be fuck around, find out time is what it is, dude. So, anyway. That being said, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Just to reiterate one more time, Casey Putsch is not a Nazi. He is not a skinhead. He is not backed by these things. He is a decent man in the Ohio governor's race. He's the only candidate in the Ohio governor's race actually gives a shit about the Second Amendment rights of Ohioans. And there's a reason why myself and other members of the network decided to back him for the governor's race. So stop trying to slander us, dude. Seriously. Because we're not neo-Nazis. We're not fucking Nazis. We're not skinheads. We're not some white hate bullshit, dude. We are people who are sick and fucking tired of watching our country get raped from the inside out by a bunch of fucking third world trash, literally. And we're not putting up with it anymore, is what it is, dude. And the story. It's time to make America the great nation it was always meant to be by our founding fathers for the global minority of this nation and tell all these so-called minorities of America that make up the global majority to fuck off is what it is, dude. And if that means we have 30 years of remigration, that's what it means, honestly, dude. It can be peaceful, or we can just have a tribalistic war. It's that simple, honestly, when it all goes down at the end of the day. You know, it's up to these people, man. And I believe there will be people that are of various races, white, Asian, etc., that will come together and fight with each other, that will come together and fight side by side as allies against the rest is what it is, man. Because the thing is, we understand from the aspects of everything we've seen in high trust societies, we can coexist together. We can live in a society where we have where we have some kind of coalition among ourselves. You know, it doesn't have to be a single race in this country. There can be multiple races. We just can't import the entire fucking third world and expect it not to be turned to the third world is what it is, dude. Like, we have to have a barricade. We have to have borders. We have to have, you know, some kind of a litmus test at this point to where it's like, hey, like, do you want to live in peace and harmony? Or do you want to walk outside where some crazy motherfucker is beating your car with a fucking hammer and then you call him out for it and he walks 10 feet over to you and bashes you in the fucking head with a hammer and kills you? You know, it's either assimilate or get the fuck out, literally, dude. It's arrest hardcore criminals that are doing this stuff and kick them the fuck out or execute them publicly is what it is, dude. Like, deal with a permanent problem with a permanent solution in the story. So stop letting fucking, 30-time convicted criminals out again, dude. Like, execute them is what it is, dude. Have mandatory death penalty sentences is what it is there. So, anyway. Till later. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm going to go chill out to a simpler time and probably watch some Little House, actually, of all things. So, anyway. Maybe I'll just watch some various YouTube stuff or whatever the heck I need to get caught up on is what it is. So, but Yeah, I'm gonna go eat some food. My neighbor guy Mickey is being a little bit loud again. I think he has game nights is what it is on like Mondays or something is what it is with some people in this area. I think that's what it is. I think they're bullshitting over there right now is what it is. Because they're either playing cards or whatever it is. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Cards Against Humanity or something like that they're playing is what it is. By the way, if you've never played that game, you should. It's fun. It leads to some of the most fucked up things from people's minds. I've played it a few times with my actually, the last time I played it, I was down at my sister's last year. It was the night we went down when I moved out of my mom's place for the last time. And then my cousin was driving me down there. And by the time we got down there, my sister, it was her and her friends. It was her, well, it's not her boyfriend that she was going to call her boyfriend. And then it was 2 of her friends that were there with them. It was 3 of her friends actually that were there with them. So I feel like there was 5 people around the table. Maybe there was only 4 of them actually. And then I became the 5th is what it was. But yeah, we were end up playing the game is what it is, and it's just funny because it was basically me as a like default right wing type of guy is what it is versus like 4 lefty types is what it is there. But at least a couple of them were like moderate, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying like every single person that's like a Democrat voter or like a leftist voter is what it is, or bad people. Like, you can have civilized conversations with these people to some extent. To a point is what it is. It's certain topics though that they will always, sort of double down on or triple down on what it is there and think they're right about this thing or that thing, whatever the case be. Versus, being able to just have a debate with someone. And I actually saw a good one. It was yesterday on one of the Facebook reels where it was, I forget what the guy's name is. It's some dude with like little ear gauge things or whatever. And he was talking about this other guy, and it was this leftist guy in the original video who was like, I don't debate right-wing MAGA people or whatever the case be. And the guy's like, is that because you're too dumb to actually debate him is what it is? And he's kind of right about that one. That's what it seems like a lot of these lefty types what it is, dude. Like, they will never debate you because they either, number one, don't know how to debate at all, so it is there, and it just becomes a screaming match eventually, or it's a situation where if they do decide to debate you, like they're going to lose because they don't want to hear that whatever they've, latched onto is reality and like their own personal, how am I trying to say this now? What they think is like the real thing or whatever the case be, which is just a false narrative is what it is. And when you're able to call them on that false narrative and show them like, no, this is the actual truth or whatever the case be, like that's what it is, their truth. Yeah. So they basically have like their version of the facts or whatever the case be, and then you have the actual facts that it is there. And when you show them the actual facts and that their version just bullshit is what it is, they basically lose their fucking mind. And I've noticed this a lot with a lot of these types of people. And I'm not saying it's just exclusively the like leftist types, like them voter types that is there. There are several people on the right too, for that matter, or at least the center anyway. And when I say the right, I mean like the MAGA right, like the Trump Democrat right of the 90s that is there. Because they will be the ones, like with this chick I was talking about earlier in this whole video, they will sit there and push false narratives about political candidates when it's like, did you even watch the 4-minute video that Putsch put out, man? Because literally nothing in it was him pushing like pro-Hitler shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, lady. Like, you just sound like you're insane, honestly. So, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though, honestly, because I know there are some people on even this like, so-called right is what it is there, that have taken the COVID shots is what it is, dude. So, and it could be brain chemistry being redone for these people for all I know, dude. So, I really wouldn't be surprised if those mRNA things actually did like rewire people's brains a little bit, dude, at this point, because you'll notice like it seems like the people that took the things, when you start to talk about certain things with them, like it's almost like it triggers something in their consciousness at that point where they just kind of like lose their minds and go all like rabbit on you is what it is there. So who knows? Maybe it's something like that. I don't know, man. But what I do know is that I never took the stuff and I never plan on taking the stuff. I know my mother took it, and because of her vaccine shedding on me, it almost killed me back in 2022. So, or wait, was it the end? Well, no, I'm sorry. It would have been the end of Yeah, it would have been December of 2021, I believe it was. It almost took me out of what it is there, man. So, and ironically, I was fine until then, until she took that stuff back in, DeWine announced the Maximilian bullshit back in May of that year. So, and I really wish she had just listened to me, man, and still listened to my sister and my aunts and stuff like that. Because if she had listened to Adam, she'd still be here and I'd still be living at the house that it is there. Unfortunately, she listened to my sister and my aunts and a bunch of other women in her lives. There's what it is. And yeah, she unfortunately got the batch that took her life in 5 years is what it is. Or I should say less than 5 years because she was dead in roughly about 3, give or take. So, but anyway. And this is what I've said before, dude. I will never stop fighting. I will never stop fighting for justice for my mother's death is what it is. Or my uncles, for that matter, that were also taken out the same way. And if it means doing frontier justice, and that's what it means, honestly. If it means getting blood justice, that's what it means, honestly. So, anyway. But yeah, on that note, that's about it for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Always be carrying situationally aware, etc. When it comes to carry method stuff, at this point, you should probably be carrying an Israeli bandage, at least one of anyway, if not multiple. Things for like a trauma kit in your vehicle. Unfortunately for me, not having a vehicle, it basically goes down to I'm now making a book bag that whenever I leave this place, I'm taking that with me, usually with my cousin and my uncle, whoever's giving me a ride that day. I'll just set it in their backseat is what it is there. And yeah, it basically has a first aid kit. It has some other things I'm going to put in it too now, which is an Israeli bandage and a water filter. And it's basically a go bag, essentially. That could either be a trauma kit bag or it could be something else for that matter, where if something goes down and, God forbid, where like an EMP or something were to hit and we get stuck out in the middle of nowhere there, like it's a way for me to basically get home is what it is, or at least get, to shelter, just have like a shelter is what it is. If I need to have a shelter out in the wild is what it is there. So I'm still gonna add a few more things to it now. I probably need to get like a small tarp or something to put in there as well. But yeah, right now it's just basically the basics and the essentials and stuff like that. Extra mags, extra ammo, like I said, medical supplies. I'm probably gonna need to put like some extra water in there at some point now. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna do that honestly, but yeah, nothing else. Like I said, just have the filter if nothing else. Then that's the case then. So, but yeah, basically for everyday carry though, you should be carrying at least a small pouch, like yay big, give or take. Like maybe like that big, give or take. That would be like a first aid type of trauma kit is what it is there. That would have, like I said, Israeli bandage or tourniquets or whatever the case be. Both actually usually is a better option. And a few other things, and then be able to get the basic medical knowledge through various videos and everything else like that. And if you have like the ability to go and do a firsthand seminars and stuff like that, I would say go to those two for that matter and get that stuff to know exactly what you're doing. Or if you have an EMT buddy or something like that, try and get them to help you out, teach you some stuff, whatever the case be then. So, but yeah, tell her. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Always be carrying situationally aware and ready for anything, especially the faster that we get towards the 4th of July this year, because like I said, I believe that this will be the time period that we see some kind of Islamic terror attack at a massive scale in this country. And whether that means there's going to be hundreds to thousands of sleeper cells activated, both of Islamic origin and of Chinese origin, it's very possible. Even if a fraction of those gets activated that day, it's going to be bad. And from everything I've learned in the past 6 months or so, dude, the one thing you're going to want to watch out for is the secondary attacks. Like we saw in the 2021 pullout in Afghanistan there, where you had the guys at the gates who set off the initial bombs, and with the suicide bombers there. And then you had the various military guys that were the first responders coming in there to save who they could of their buddies. And then you had other bombers coming in behind them and being the secondary attack is what it is there. And I believe you'll see similar things here in America to that, where you'll have like one guy that's a suicide bomber type or whatever, just walk into a crowd of people and just, detonate a vest or whatever the case be. And then meanwhile, you'll have like 4 or 5 guys that'll just be waiting. It'll be similar to what happened there in Australia, where, they go on that beach, whatever the case be, and start blasting. So you need to be ready to take out these threats is what it is, man. Take out those threats. If nothing else, take their weapons after the fact and use them against other ones is what it is then, dude. Like if all you're carrying is a handgun, you can take them out with your handgun. Then you go there and you grab their long gun and you smoke the other ones is what it is. Their long gun is what it is then, dude. So at the end of the day, you should always be, your pistol should be your primary until you can get to your rifle. That should be your actual primary. So if you have the ability to carry a rifle in your vehicle, even better. If you can get to your vehicle and it has a rifle in it or has an AR pistol in it or something like that where you can do long distance shots, dude, then do that stuff. Get to that and take out the active threat is what it is, man. Because you never know if you're going to have to be that person that does that. Because, as we've seen with previous mass shootings in this country and other massacres and stuff like that, dude, the average amount of people that are killed in these things before the cops actually get there is anywhere from 14.5 to 15 people. Whereas the average, when it's an armed citizen taking out the active threat is what it is, it's like 2.5 to 3 people is what it is then. So, yeah, be that person that's ready to go, man. Always be in that mindset of that mode to where you may have to be that, active self-defender and take out the active threat that's in front of you is what it is there. And be willing and ready to do so is what it is. So, anyway, till later. I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Peace out.